All right, here we are still on lesson 87. This is our second video, and we are looking at example 4, which is on page 568. It says make a sketch to show the division 1/4 divided by 1/12. And we need to tell what the quotient is, which is the answer. So since we're breaking it into 12s, that's where that whole clock idea is going to come into play that I mentioned in the last video. So first I'm going to make my circle. And I am going to break it into fourths to start with. And so where it said to think about a clock, it was like on the other page, like this would be on a clock, that would be 12, this would be 3, this would be 6, and this would be 9, right? And then we could fill in 1 and 2 right here, 4 and 5 right here, 7 and 8 right here, and then 10 and 11. So this is not, it doesn't actually have anything to do with the clock, it's just the clock idea helps us think about how to break this into 12ths. Okay, so I can break it into 12ths by connecting the 11 to the 5 and the 10 to the 4, and I'm just trying to keep passing through that center point. If you have a ruler at home, that'd probably be really good to be using right now. I'm going to connect the 8 to the 2 and then the 7 to the 1. So now mine look a little wonky, but you get the idea. So that's how you can take it and break it into 12ths. And again, have grace with me, pretend they are all equal. So I only need one of these fourths, so I'm just going to kind of get rid of all those. I only really need one of these. And I'm saying how many 1/12ths are in 1/4. So in this 1/4 that I have here, this is 1/12. This is 1/12, and this is 1/12. So how many 1/12ths are in 1/4? Well, there are 1, 2, 3 12ths in 1/4. All right. So now I would like you to do lesson practice A and B, and you are going to be drawing the pictures, and then pause the video and then restart when you're ready to check your work. Okay, so for lesson practice A, how many 1/6 are in 1/2? So we are going to sketch it here because these sketches are actually very helpful. So grab your milk jug cap or whatever it is you're using to make your nice circles, or if you're just an awesome circle drawer, or maybe you have a compass at home, then you could use that as well. But this is working out pretty decently for me, so I'm going to keep going with that. Okay, so how many 1/6 are in 1/2? So first I'm going to break this into half. And I know I'm only using one of the halves, so I'm just going to shade that out. And then I have to break it into 6, which means I need to have 2 lines going through like that. Whew, I hope yours look better than mine. All right, so here's 1/6, here's 1/6, and here's 1/6. So how many 1/6 are in 1/2? You should have said 3 for your answer. For letter B, it was how many 1/12ths are in 1/3. So since I know I'm doing 12ths, I'm going to go right ahead and do this whole clock idea again. My 12, my 3, my 6, and my 9, and then 1, 2. Remember, the purpose of the clock numbers is just to give us points to help us sketch the 12ths. It just makes it a lot easier to sketch. So in this case, I'm going to put in the 12ths first. And straight edges would be your friends. If I knew where one was in my house right now, I would be using one. There we go. Okay, so now I have my 12ths in. But I need to know how many 1/12ths are in 1/3. So I've got to identify my thirds here. So remember I told you that to make a third, you go halfway down, and then you go out like this. So these, to make one third, you're going to go between 12, 4, and 8. That's how you draw off your thirds, okay? So I'm going to scribble those out because I only need one of the thirds. So how many 1/12ths do I have here in 1/3? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So there are 4/12ths in 1/3. Okay, so then finally, I'm going to have you pause the video one more time to do lesson practice. Let's do C and F. And pause the video and do those both. It says try to solve them mentally. You can do that. If you need to sketch it, of course, go ahead and sketch it, certainly. But go ahead and try to solve those both. And then when you are ready, restart your video to check your work. All right, so for the first one, 2/3 divided by 2/3. So we could draw that out, right? But I could also think about the fact that I know that any number divided by itself is 1. Like 7 divided by 7 is 1, 12 divided by 12 is 1. The same rule applies to fractions. So 2/3 divided by 2/3 is going to also be 1, because any number divided by itself equals 1. I will just sketch it out for you real quick, just to show you. So how many 2/3 are there? Well, this piece is a 2/3 size piece, and there's only one of those pieces in that 2/3. So remember, any number divided by itself equals 1 whole, that includes fractions. And then for letter F, you had to do 1 divided by 1/2. So to do it mentally, you could have thought to yourself, how many halves are in 1 whole? Okay. And the answer then would be 2. There are 2 halves in a whole. But just to sketch it, I would take the whole and I would break it into halves, and I would say, how many 1/2s do I have there? Well, I have 2, and so there are 2 1/2s in 1 whole. All right, so that is your lesson for today, and it's Thursday, so this is the last lesson of the week. Your assignment for today, which I would be due-ish on Monday. Say ish because we're just being flexible right now with everything. Just getting it done as you can, and you're doing numbers 2 through 30 even today. This is already on in your packet. Okay. This is your last day because tomorrow on Friday, it is your day to maybe do something fun with your family. There's lots of educational, online field trips and things that you could be checking out. Maybe you're just going to go out and do something in the yard with your family. Maybe you need to clean your room, and maybe you are a little behind in your work and you need a day to get caught up. That is what tomorrow is for, to rest and get yourself kind of caught up on whatever it is that you need to do. And please do be uploading your assignments to Google Classroom as you're able. Please try to make sure you're like zooming in on the photo and taking it like in a brightly lit room. Make sure you're writing dark enough. Actually look at the photo and make sure you can read it, because like if it's way up here, and I've got, well, this is all really dark, but like if this was my work right here, that could be really hard to read. Actually, that's still pretty easy to read, but it's much easier to read though if when I took the photo I went like that. So kind of think about that as you take your photos. Try to help me out, make it easier for me to read. I would really appreciate it. So hope you guys all have a great day, and we will chat again on Monday.